Good afternoon, everybody. I'm back here for another video. This is our next patient right here. Now, I don't know how hard it would be for you to tell, but this is a lawnmower. I know that was pretty tough to tell there, but the issue with this is it is smoking like crazy, and it won't stop smoking. So I checked the engine oil. It's right at full, maybe a hair above, but pretty much right at full. Not over full enough to make it smoke any. Because I know if the engine has got too much oil in it, that is a reason why these could smoke too much, because these are vertical shaft engines and the piston sits horizontally. If there's too much engine oil, it'll go right into the combustion chamber and burn. Yeah, you don't want that. So that's not the case here. There is not too much oil in it, and it's still smoking. The only other thing that could happen is the piston rings could be shot, and that's what I'm thinking about going and digging out here out of this engine, is take out the piston rings and put new ones in and hone the engine and that sort of deal. So I'll start it up here. I'll move the camera over to the muffler side so you can see what it's doing. It may not do it as bad just now, but because it's warm, but I'll show you what the deal is here. Yes, it runs. However, I'm not going to sell it to somebody like that, because who wants to buy a lawnmower that people say, oh, it runs great, it just smokes like crazy? Nobody. Not many. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have to dismount the engine and take off the sump cover at the bottom. But first, I'm going to gut everything off the engine I can while the engine's still on the mower, so I don't have to lift very much off of the mower if I can still help it. So basically my goal here is the head has to come off. So to do that, the muffler needs to come off, the carburetor needs to come off, and then the head bolt's got to come out. So I have to slowly work my way toward that. I'm going to start by taking the top off. There was no screws in it when I got it. Get rid of this. Oh, that's nasty. Get rid of that. There, I figured I'd bring you in a little bit closer to show you what I'm doing here. So I just took off the air cleaner. That's these two bolts and then that one. The carburetor has to come off now. That's just two 3/8 bolts, one on each side of the carburetor. And one here, and one down here. There you go. I'm not even sure if I'm going to take the fuel line off or anything, because I literally just have to dismount the carburetor. I think I'm going to leave it just like that if I can. Get rid of this thing here. There's one. There's two. That should make this thing loose. And there's that. The carburetor's O-ring is really smushed, but that's not what we're here for. Get rid of this. There we go. What else is it attached to? Oh, it's attached to this. Oh no, it's not attached to anything. Get rid of this spring here. There we go. There's the whatever that's called. And then I will take off the main shroud, I guess, from here. I guess the gas tank has to come off first, huh? So to get rid of the gas tank, there's 3 bolts up top, and then there's one down here. Actually, I'll get rid of that one now. There we go. There's that one. Now there's a spacer under here too, on most of them, between the gas tank and the engine that you have to take out. Right there. Now I should be able to pop the 3 off the top. There we go, then the gas tank should come off. Actually, I might be able to take the gas tank and the carburetor off together. If I could get the carburetor linkage off, then I could take them off in one piece. There we go. What I'm doing now is I just loosened the pull cord holder up at the top of the engine so I could slide the pull cord out through the gas tank like that, and then remove these. And then what did I do with the bolts? Did I put them in here? Yes, I did. Boy, that's a little rusty, isn't it? Well, that's how they get. They sit outside a lot of the times, people put them, and then they get rusty like that. It's just surface rust. Oh, it really is just surface rust. Wow. Yeah, I'll say. So now what they have, I'm gonna have to take this off because the head's under there. I need to get to how they do it. Is there's 2 screws here and then 2 screws in the back. Once I remove those, the top will come off. And then the pull start comes off with the top. The pull starts are riveted in. Oh, where did this come from? I bet you this came from here. When I can, I like to put the bolts that I took out of things right back in so I know which bolts went where. It's not necessarily often I run into a problem on how to put stuff back together. The problem I more run into so is which bolts go where. And then there's 2 back here. And then the dipstick, I forgot about. There's a screw on the dipstick that needs to come off. Wrong size. I like the engines that Briggs and Stratton made before they switched over to that new E series with the overhead valve and the plastic carburetor. These are called the Quantum series engines, the older ones. They're flathead, they don't have an overhead valve. And I like them very much because it's all standard sockets, no metric sockets. And the design's so easy, they last forever. Nothing usually breaks, except when they get old. I guess the rings usually go. But sometimes the carburetor lasts the lifetime of the engine if you take care of it. Yeah, there goes this. That's a little rusty too. So is the inside of the flywheel. So what happens when they let it sit outside? All the moisture locks in there, I guess, huh? From here, I guess the head can come right off because you only have 3, 4, 6, 7 bolts to take the head off. I guess nothing else needs to come off. Oh, the muffler I have to take off. No. Oh no, it's not a flathead engine. The muffler can stay on. I didn't even have to take the carburetor off. I'm thinking of a different engine. Most engines, I'm thinking of an overhead valve engine because on the overhead valve engines, the carburetor and the muffler are mounted right into the head. But on this one, I guess it's just that simple. I literally didn't even need to take the carb off, but I took it off, I guess, to make room and because the gas tank came off. Now let's take the head off. All the head is just 7 half-inch bolts, and I guess I gotta take that off. You think they're gonna be stuck? I hope not. Oh, okay, got 1, 2. Okay, they're coming off. As long as they don't break. Oh, that one was nasty. You think the head gasket blew too? Maybe. Hey. No, I doubt it did blow. It was probably okay. Actually, where is the head gasket? Oh, it's on here. It's on the head. There it is. No, it looks fine. There's no passages. Like usually if a head gasket blows, what you'll get is you'll get like a line right on the gasket that shows you where stuff was coming out. Or you'll get a line of carbon. I mean, it was pretty close here, but I think it was okay. Cylinder's a little scored up. Not like to the point where there's no compression, but here, let me get the exhaust valve. I guess I'll get both of the valves closed. Oh, there's a compression release on this. It's going to be impossible to get both of them shut. I don't know if you could see it in there, but it's got a little bit of wear marks there. I don't know about the other side. The other side's okay. Well, there's a little bit there. Could use a good hone. It was definitely burning oil. Look at the carbon buildup on the inside of this. Blah. I don't know. Some of those head gasket bolts were pretty loose. There's a little bit of a mark right there. Stuff could have been exiting. But I probably would have seen carbon on the muffler too if the head gasket was bad. It could have been. I have a new head gasket, obviously, because the piston has to come out, but I also have new rings, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put new rings in it anyway. So it's going to get both. Yeah, look at this head. Definitely burning oil. My goodness. I'll get rid of this. I guess I can pop the coil off, too, just to get more stuff out of my way. I don't really want to... What's going to happen is the engine's going to go upside down, and that coil... I don't know if I want the coil on the engine when it's tipped upside down. Oh, I forgot the ground wire. There we go. What else could we take off here? You want to take the muffler off? I could take the muffler off just because it's kind of big and in the way. I think I will. I'll try. If the bolts are too tight, then I'll just ignore it because I don't want to break them. Now, that's going to make my day fun. Oh yeah, they were tight, weren't they? Lots of carbon on these bolts too. I'm not going to take them out because I think they need to stay in there, but lots of carbon. Even the inside of the muffler's all carboned up too. It's pretty bad there. Yeah, that gives me a little bit more room. There's some shrapnel. I think I'm going to leave it like that. I could be covering up the port where the muffler went, but all that's going to happen is when the engine starts, stuff's just going to come out, not go in, so I'm not going to worry about it. I probably should cover up where the carburetor went. Where did these go? I have two bolts here that I don't remember what went to. Oh, I bet you these were in the back. I bet you they went back here. Can I get this linkage out too? Here, I'll take this linkage out also. There we go. Now half the engine's sitting over on the ground. I could take off the kill thing too. Or should I just leave that there? No, I'm going to have to take it off because it's stopping the engine with the engine brake. And I'll thread the wire out from the bottom. I hope I can get it out. I hope that I don't have to take something out. I bet you I'm supposed to take it out the other way. But I got it out. I think I'm going to put those right back in. Well, that's pretty much as far as apart I think it can go. I mean, I could take the flywheel off, but I'm going to need that. And then that intake thing. The dipstick I keep on until I take out the engine, then I'll tip over the engine and remove the oil. I guess I got to take off the blade and the blade adapter at the bottom and the pulley that drives the self-propel. I kind of forgot about that. So I think what I'll do is I'll take the dipstick here and I'll move it like this. And I'll just keep an eye on it when I tip the mower over that no oil comes out, because I really want to wait to take the oil out until I have the engine out. So here I'll tip it over. Any oil coming out? Nope. Here's this. A little rusty under here. The blade adapter is fine. The blade is the wrong blade. Somebody bought a blade that doesn't fit the little nipples on the blade adapter. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm either gonna have to replace the blade, or I'm gonna have to drill out new holes on the blade to match the things on the... Well, that's not gonna work, is it? If this doesn't work, I don't know what will. Yeah. Yeah, they bought one of these new MTD blades with the star pattern on it, and this is an older MTD. Supposedly an MTD, I don't know, it's a Craftsman, but it doesn't have the star blade adapter on it. It has an older blade adapter with the things that out further. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I might have to replace the blade. I was thinking about making new holes in the current blade, but the problem with that is, what if I don't make them center? Then the blade's gonna be all over the place. That was a little stiff. How about the bottom? Oh, there's only one bolt. Oh, that's dirty back there. Oh my goodness. I don't think I can get rid of this without taking the pulley off. I might have to take the pulley off first unless I force it. I don't think I want to force it though, because I might break it. Yeah, this pulley has to come off. What do you think? I either need an air hammer or a puller. I'm not sure which one of them will do better. I'll try the air hammer first. I'll see if an air hammer will take the pulley off. The reason I say that I want to start with the air hammer is because I don't have a 2-jaw puller that'll efficiently go on this. Just a 3-jaw puller, and the 3-jaw puller will not work great here. Let me see how this does. This could go well or bad, I don't know. It's moving. Well, it was moving. Yeah, I got it off some of the way, but I ran out of room now. I don't think I have a longer bolt unless I throw a punch down there. I could try to throw a punch down there. No, that's not going to work, is it? How about the little one? Yeah, that does it. Let's try that. Here, let me move you. Oh yeah, victory. Oh boy, that's a little rusty. Here, look at this. It's caked on there pretty good. I'll have to take care of that when I put this back together, because that's a fairly significant amount of a rust problem we got there. Now I might be able to take the engine mounts out. It looks like there's only 3 bolts that hold in this engine. It's kind of odd. Typically there's 4, not 3, but Guess there's 3. I wonder if it's the same size as the blade bolt. I hope so. No, it's not. It's 1/2 inch. I gotta go get a different socket. I'm assuming that the my little 12 volt won't do it. All right, how am I gonna go about this? I'll take 2 out, I guess. And then the 3rd one, I guess I'll have to hold the engine while I take out. So I'll take out the bottom one. All right.
Oh no.
Well, that's not good. I hate when stuff like that happens. Oh, I broke 2. Well, I think I'm gonna go at removing those bolts before I start with the rings. I'll show you my technique because I've done this before, unfortunately. So what I'll do is I'll line up the engine with the mower deck just so I can get a center start on drilling it out. I'm not going to bother welding anything to it. It's just going to break again, so I'm going to drill it out. What I'm going to do is use the mower deck as a guide and then throw a drill bit in there just so I can get a good start on drilling it out. Then maybe I'll pull the engine and finish it. How I'll go about this is I'll find the right size drill bit that'll fit in there. Yep, that one. I'm just going to use it to make my center hole because it seems like very often, more than not, I cannot, for the life of me, make a center hole when I'm drilling out a bolt. There we go. I'll do the other one. It's gonna be a little harder because the bolt's not flush, so I'll need to speed to it. Oh yeah, no problem. All right. We got our 2 center holes there. I'm sure it's tough enough for you to see, but if you could see right through, this one is a good view here. I got right onto that bolt, right through the center of it. So now I think I'm going to remove the engine and then I'll tip it upside down, drain the oil, and then I can get those bolts out nice and clean. So I'll pop out that bolt at the bottom. I'll get on the other side of the engine and I'm grabbing it right here. Let me get a battery that's charged more. Nope, I gotta get the big one. There we go. Get this out of the way. I think I'll go grab an oil pan and drain the oil out of the engine first. So these engines actually have an oil drain on the bottom right here. So if you put a 1/2 inch drive ratchet in there, you can remove that plug. It's a pipe thread. Get rid of the plug, and then you could drain the oil out that way. However, in my case, you could also pop the dipstick and tip the engine on the side and drain it out this way too. my goodness. Heavy. I'll stick that back in there. So what I'll do here now is get rid of the dipstick and shove a paper towel in there, because I'm going to have to tip the engine upside down. What I'm going to do is tip the engine on the flywheel and then drill straight from the, face the engine straight up and drill straight down so that I can get those bolts out with a sufficient amount of down pressure. I'm taking this off anyway, so if dirt gets in there, it's not the end of the world. But there's that, and I'm gonna go like that. Oh, that rests pretty nicely, doesn't it? So there's my 2 bolts that you can see there. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that's not how it's supposed to be. So looking here, this is the one good bolt that I got yet. Here. And here's the drill bit that I was using. That's way too big. The only reason I used it then is just to get my center. So I'm gonna go to a smaller drill bit. I don't know what size bolt this is, but I think it's 3/8 diameter. So I'm gonna either 1/4 inch or 5/16 I'll go with. Here, 5/16, whatever fits through this. Oh yeah, 5/16 fits. Maybe I'll start with the 1/4 inch. I'll start with the 1/4 inch. By the way, I'm using cobalt drill bits here because the cobalt drill bits last a lot longer and stay a lot sharper than the standard, whatever you use, black oxide or the titanium nitride that Harbor Freight sells, whatever the heck they have. Cobalt bits last longer. They're a little pricier, but they get the job done. I think they get the job done better. So that is 2-stroke oil, and I'm using that as a lubrication oil, or a cutting oil, sometimes they'll call it. I think I'll start with this one. So what I'll do is I'll put some pressure on the engine, and with metal drilling, you always want to put a lot of down pressure, but you want to drill slow. I don't know why, but that's what works. If I drill really fast, it doesn't exactly work great. More good stuff. Let's see, how far through are we? Oh, not very. We'll make it someday. There we go. I'd say I did pretty good with that one. Oh yeah, I did great. Let's get rid of some of this. Okay, that's good for now. I'll get the rest later. So that hole is clean through. Plus, I went right through the center of that bolt. I was off by a little bit, but I'm not sure if you could tell there, but this is the bolt. So I did pretty well. What I think I'm gonna do is let this bit cool down. I'll go with the 5/16. I looked it up on the internet, and the internet said if I'm doing a 5/16 by 18 bolt, which is what this is, that's no 24. Use a excuse me, what did I say, 5/6, no, 3/8 by 24. No, 3/8 by 18. If I'm doing a 3/8 by 18 bolt, then use a 5/16 drill bit on the hole you're gonna tap. So I'm gonna go back with a 5/16 bolt, let this drill bit take a break. There we go. I think I just needed to go faster. I struggled for a while, but I got it. I'm gonna start with the 1/4 inch like I did last time, and then I'll work up to the 5/16. I did well with that one too. I don't know if you saw at the beginning there, but I had a little problem where it wasn't straight at first, and that was a big issue on my part, but luckily I was able to straighten it back out, and I was lucky about that part. Again, I hit the bolt right on the side. I don't know if you could see it from there, but I did hit the bolt right on the side. So I'm gonna go for 5/16 now. I actually still see some of the original threads on there. I bet you I can take, wherever in the world I put it, I bet you I can take this and just make my way right through. Oh yeah. I guess I used the wrong size drill bit. Oops. Well, that was unfortunate. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to use the next size biggest tap and just go one hole bigger. I don't even know what that goes to now, 7/16. It's a big tap. 7/16 by 20. That's large. How about 3/8 by... I might be able to fit 3/8 by 24 in there if I can't fit the 18. Where is my other tap? This one should go right through. Oh, it doesn't. Let me try to run that through. I doubt that'll work, but I can try it. I lost my bolt again. Where did it go? Oh. Dummy. I ran it through the wrong hole. Oh yeah, that one goes right through, doesn't it? It does go right through. Let me see if I can run a fine thread. Oh, no, right through. Yep, that's not gonna do it. Okay. I gotta go to the next tap then. How about this one? 7/16 by 14. I could do that. I'm not sure if that'll fit. Yeah, I probably used a 3/8 drill bit on it. I did. 7/16 by 14. Let's see if that'll do it. Yep, that'll work. So then I gotta go to the store and get a 7/16 bolt. However easy that is to find, I don't know. I probably don't have a bolt that big here. 7/16 by 14. Okay, so at least I recovered those. I'm happy about that. Now I gotta clean up this mess I made. All right, well, that took a little bit longer than I thought it did. It took a heck of a lot longer than it did in the video, I'll tell you that. That was like a 2-hour job or something stupid like that. I hate breaking bolts. And for the record, you know what I probably should have done is learn my lesson after I broke the first one and grab the torch and try not to break the second one, but I didn't do that. I'm gonna have to pressure wash this when it's back together because it doesn't look great. For now, I'm just gonna go like this. So what I gotta do is I gotta take the sump cover off. And just get around the gasket surface here. So I gotta take the sump cover off. To take the sump cover off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bolts to take it off. This might be a little tough. It might be pretty stuck, judging by what else was stuck on this engine. Let me grab something to whack it with. Give it a little bit of an enthusiasm here. Let me make sure I didn't forget any bolts because it seems very stuck. I don't think this one would do it. No, that one won't do it. No, I think I got all of them. Yeah. There we go. It's moving. Oh, there goes a bunch of engine oil. I guess when I cleaned off the engine, I neglected to account for the flywheel magnet. Oops. There we go. Oh, maybe I should take my towel out now. There we go. Yeah, there's engine oil all over the place now. It's spilled. It's probably not. Oh, it's just gonna come off? That would make my day a little bit easier after the difficulty that was brought to me about 2 hours ago. There we go. Back and forth, try to sometimes be stuck. If my shafts are rusty. There we go. It looks pretty good in there. There's the, I'm sure you could see. Can you see? There's the sump cover. I probably should have explained this before, but the way that you split the engine is you have to take the sump cover off. And the sump cover, unfortunately, the only way to do that is to take the engine off. It's just easier. And when you take the sump cover off, you get access to the crankshaft, the camshaft, and the governor. And I guess the connecting rod and, you know, that kind of stuff too. So when you put engine oil in your engine, the oil ends up in the crankcase. The crankcase is just basically this big, this in here. That's the crankcase. It's amazing how small these engines really are. I guess the bigger and bigger of engine you work on, it's quite strange to go back to a smaller engine. Okay, so the governor just comes out. I know that. That just comes out like this. And then the camshaft is here. My goal is to get as much of this engine oil out as I can. In theory, all of it will come out. Once I get all that oil out, I'll spray it down with carburetor cleaner and just get all the, and if there's any loose dirt that came in through any sort of holes that, you know, while I was taking it apart, if I blew anything in here, hopefully not metal shavings, but that's the last thing that you really want in here. I can take the camshaft out and get it out of my way. Here, let's see if we can turn this so we can shut one of the valves, or both of them, I guess, would be right about there. Nope. Where's the timing tick mark? Put it in right where the timing tick mark is. That could be anywhere. Right there. It'll probably come out. There we go. And there go the tappets. Here's the camshaft. It's made of plastic. I guess you can make it plastic just as long as the temperatures don't get too hot. You know, you have to make the plastic able to withstand the temperatures of how hot the engine oil gets. And this little doohickey here, I believe, is the compression release. So what happens is when you're going to start the engine, the camshaft turns, and this is the, what port is this? It's this port. I don't know if that's the intake or the exhaust. A port, it doesn't matter, it's a port. It comes along this cam lobe. The tappet rides along this cam lobe, opens the valve, shuts the valve. At this point, you're hitting the intake stroke, and then you've closed. Now you're starting to hit the compression stroke. You're going up on the compression stroke, and you're starting to gain compression, and then beep, it just pops open the valve ever so slightly to lose a little bit of compression. These engines normally have about 120 pounds of compression when they're healthy. So if you pop a valve open, it acts as a compression release and brings you down to about 70 pounds of compression, for the sole purpose of when you go to pull the cord on the engine, it doesn't, one, break your arm, break your wrist, or two, give you a hard time starting it. Say you have somebody who's 70 years old and is unable to pull a really old lawnmower's cord to start it. Well, the compression release solves that problem because it pops open the valve and makes it easier to pull over, only until the engine starts. When the engine starts, centrifugal force takes these little weights on the end and kicks them out. Now your little temporary lobe here is no longer here, it's kicked out there. So when the lawnmower is running, it goes right over the cam lobe comes around the other side, back over the cam lobe, and this little thing isn't there. All right, I'll stick that in there. And then these came out of the engine when I took out the camshaft. These are called tappets. A tappet is basically like, kind of like the equivalent of a hydraulic lifter on a V8 engine. These go inside the engine and push on the push rods. Or I guess in this case there's no push rods, but they go up in the engine, and this is what the camshaft rides on. This is what the camshaft presses on, is these little guys right here. There's two of them. So when the camshaft comes around, whoops, this thing sits like right there, and the camshaft comes around and pushes that tappet up. The tappet pushes on right directly on the valve, opens the valve. That's how this works, because this is a flathead engine. When I say a flathead engine, that's what it means, is the head's flat, nothing there. On an overhead valve engine or an overhead cam engine, you have the valves built into the actual head. They're not here in the engine, they're on the head. So on an overhead valve engine, what happens is the tappet pushes on a push rod, and the push rod actually goes all the way through the engine. There's a hole here, through the engine, up to the head, and there's little rockers, almost like seesaws, teeter-totters. One end there's a spring, and one end is the push rod. One end is the valve, one end is the push rod with the spring on the valve side. And when the cam comes around, pushes the tappet, pushes the push rod, pushes that rocker, and pushes the valve down. That's why the carburetor and muffler have to be mounted on the head on an overhead valve engine, because the valves are in the head. Or I guess over the head. Here's how this works. This is the main workings of an engine here. I don't know if you could see it as well. Yeah, you could see it okay. The piston's up top right here, and it's connected to a, they call it a connecting rod. I think it's an aluminum casting. It's basically like a rod with two holes in it. One hole goes up to the piston and one hole goes to the crankshaft. The connecting rod's connected to the camshaft, the crankshaft, but offset. The connecting rod pushes the crankshaft down and turns it into rotational energy. The tolerances for this kind of stuff have to be very tight though, or else you're gonna hear knocks and bangs and stuff you don't want to hear. So what I need to do now is I need to take apart that connecting rod and pull the piston out. I bet you it's standard. Yes, it is. All right, I gotta go get myself a ratchet. Okay, so the last time I did this, I injured myself. I cut myself open because what happens is these bolts go from really stiff to really loose really quickly. So I think I was prying on it like this, and when it gave loose, I jammed my thumb into the sharp corner of this crankcase, the gasket surface, and they're sharp, those edges, so you have to be careful. And apparently I wasn't careful enough. This is a good way to do it. To grab onto the crankshaft and go like this. There we go. So these connecting rod caps, I know on some of them, I'm not sure about how these work, is the connecting rods have to be so precise in the way they're made. They actually make the connecting rod, they manufacture the connecting rod as one piece. They bore it out and make it precise one piece, and then they do a controlled snap. They break it in half to form the cap so you can put it on the engine. I rebuilt an outboard motor not long ago. It was an OMC motor, an Evinrude Johnson, and it had that design. The the connecting rods were made and manufactured in one piece and broken in half. These, I don't know how they do it. It looks too flat to be that way. Just because they're small engines, I bet you what they do is they don't do that. I bet you they manufacture the rod and the cap separately, put them together, and then machine the hole. Because the way that 4-strokes work is you need to have a minuscule uniform gap in between the rod and the crankshaft. It's so minuscule that you can't really feel it by your hands, but that gap needs to be there because that's the gap where engine oil runs through. If that gap's not there, you're chewing up your engine in about 5 minutes. There's little channels on the connecting rod where the engine oil runs through, and that's how the oil gets in and out of that gap. That's why it's very important to change your engine oil on time, because if you don't, then you could chew up that inner winding. Oh, these bolts are 2 different lengths. If you don't do that, you chew up the inner winding and chew up this. See here, this one doesn't have any oil passages, it's just the rod itself. But here, let me grab a towel. If you look in here, this is the channel that needs to be super, super precisely machined. If it's not precisely machined, what you'll get is you'll get scores in there, and then it'll start knocking, and eventually what happens is you'll throw a rod. Throwing a rod means that the rod breaks and the engine catastrophically blows up. It just catastrophically stops. Now, there are markings on here, little wear marks, but if I run my finger across here, I can't feel a thing. It feels like glass because it's so crystal smooth. Those wear marks are so small I can't even feel it. And that's normal. So then I'll turn the crankshaft out a little bit and the connecting rod will pop out. Then I will turn the engine over here. And sometimes I need a punch to do this, but normally I could take the piston and whack it out. Yeah, that's probably the best I'm gonna get. Then I'll have to twist it. Oh, that's my problem. There's give in the crankshaft. That's why I'm having such a hard time. There, now the piston will probably just come right out. So he says. There we go. Very stiff. Let me see if I can whack the rest of the way out. See if that did anything. There we go. Here she goes. All right, still quit screwing around. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get rid of the rest of the oil in here. If I can help it, then I'll spray it down with carburetor cleaner and really get it nice and clean. The reason for that is I'm gonna hone the piston after this, and it seems that metal shards like to stick to oil, and I don't really want that. In case any metal shards fall down here, I need to be able to clean it back out. So I'd rather have this lined with carburetor cleaner than oil, if I'm going to be doing that. There we go. This little piston, this little area makes all that power for your lawnmower to go. Quite impressive. Looks like this mower actually sat outside for a while, or there was water in the oil at some point, because there's rust on the inside of the piston. That's strange. That doesn't just happen. I don't know how well you can see that. Probably not very well. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hone the piston. Hone the piston, I basically have a little triple sanding stone that goes in there. and it's called a cylinder hone. It's meant for engines, and it's basically meant to just get rid of those wear marks in there and just make it nice and clean again. Here's what the tool looks like. It's just 3 stones, and I have it on my drill, and that's going to go into the cylinder, and it's going to wipe off. It's going to clean up those surfaces, and then when I'm done with the hone, I will wipe the inside of the crankcase off again. I'm not sure if the oil helps at all, but I like to throw some oil in there. To be honest with you, this cylinder is so small, I'm not even sure if my hone will fit in there. I'll try it. Yeah, it'll fit. It's tight, but yeah, it'll fit. All right, that's probably good enough. There we go. The honing stones I use are quite coarse. So I do that on purpose because it creates such a nice surface on the inside of the cylinder. I'm inclined to keep going with the hone. I think I'm going to keep on going with the hone. There's just some stuff I still see there that I would like to not see. All right. I'm going to say that that might be good. I don't know. I think that'll be fine. Again, I got to make sure to load up on the carburetor cleaner here, because if I don't get all this stuff out, then it's not great. I like to go until I can't see any more gray stuff coming in on the paper towels, or very minimal gray stuff coming in on the paper towels. I did go a little heavy on the honing stones this time, so it might take a little longer than I thought it would. Yeah, there we go. Nothing. I'll take that. It's good enough for me. Okay, I'm going to do the gasket surfaces now. They both look pretty bad on both the cover and the engine. So I'm going to wait to clean up the engine real good until I get these leftover gasket material off here. These can be really stubborn sometimes, and to be honest, I think this is the least favorite part of this job, is getting rid of the gasket surfaces. Because, okay, you know what? I changed my mind. While it can take a while, drilling out broken bolts is worse. There we go. Now I'm going to do the sump cover. I understand that this is a little bit dirty at the moment. I'm going to take care of it later, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rings in, I'll put the rod back on, put the piston in, then I'll take care of this, and I'll show you my process for resealing everything. I mean, they feel a little worn. I can't really have a Yeah, I can't really tell too well. Let me clean off the piston here. I'm going to clean off the carbon off of the top of the piston once it's back in the engine. Because what I'm going to do is I'll put the engine back on the motor, and then I will wire wheel the whole thing with the rings in and the piston at top dead center. Let's get these rings off. You like my little tool? I like my little tool. It makes getting these off a little easier. But I will tell you that this tool is not meant for rings this small, so sometimes it is a little tough. There we go. Oh, I missed. There we go. And the oil ring is a little different. I have to take it off manually. There's one, and there's a bottom one, and there's this squiggly looking one. So the reason I say the oil ring is these three here that all ride in that one passage are for making sure that the oil makes its way back into the engine. It's the scraper ring. These two are the compression rings. So these are airtight. This is fluid tight, or fluid is air, okay. Liquid tight. Ordinarily, what I would do is go in there and clean those passages up inside where the rings sit. However, these passages are very clean. So I'm not even sure if there's much for me to do. I'll go blow it out with an air compressor, and I think that's about all that I will put into this because it's clean enough. There's nothing loose on there. All right, old ones, garbage. And here's my new ones. No, they're not OEM, because OEM rings are twice the price. There we go. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll lube up the channels really well. I like to use this as installation oil to make sure that the rings go on as well as they're supposed to. Maybe it'll smoke when it first starts. Oh well. Alright, so I'm working on putting the first rings back on. This is the oil retention ring I'm working on now. Alright, new rings on. So what I'm going to do now, so now I got to put the piston back in, but the piston won't just go back in. I need to use a ring compressor tool in order to get this back in, because if I just go to put it in normally, it's likely that it won't be able to get back in. There's a chance, but I'm thinking the answer is probably going to be no. Yeah, I think I'll use a ring compressor. So this is my ring compressor. It's basically like a big hose clamp sitting on the top of the engine here. And I just tighten it until the rings are compressed. And then I basically go up from the top on like a punch or something. Oh, you can't see me too good. There we go. I'm gonna whack it in. I missed one. Yeah, I gotta redo this. I think the small ones I have the hardest time with because the small ones don't fit my ring compressor as well. Let's see if I can get one more click out of it. There we go. That should do it. Let me see. There we go. Now she's back in there. Very, very well. I'm gonna go ahead and clean some of this off. Looks like it drooled a little bit of oil down here from what I sprayed in there earlier. All right, now I gotta try to get the piston back onto the crankshaft. Or I guess the connecting rod rather. It appears something is not right. I wonder if I have to move the piston up more. Oh, I can go this way. This is tougher than I thought it would be. There we go. Then we'll go like this. Wow, it's very tight in there. Right now, what I'm just trying to do is work the connecting rod down so I could slide the cap on. There we go. Let's get that cap cleaned up. I have the cap right here. Get some carburetor cleaner on it. Oh, I think I need more carburetor cleaner pretty soon. Oh, I go through carburetor cleaner like a 5-year-old goes through chocolate. Really fast. All right, that's nice and clean. Let's get some oil on it. Slide it back in here. Oh, that went in real nice. And then I believe the smaller screw went on the outside here, and the larger screw went on the inside. Here, see if you could see it better if I do that. Where did 5/16 go? I think I lost it. Oh, it's on my impact. I don't know what I would have used it for there. Use it for something. Oh. I'll go till it's snug, then I'll back it off a hair. Because then I'm gonna align the cap by hand if I can help it. Okay. Actually, I think I can snug it up because it looks like it lines up right away. It looks like the screws kind of align the cap. I don't need to align it too much at all because it looks like it just goes right in. I guess that's good for me. Sometimes on these what happens is you have to line them up with a tool. Most of the time I can get it by hand, but oftentimes I cannot, and I need to get a lining tool in there. Oh, that's not aligned. Maybe I spoke too soon. I'm gonna call that good enough. That looks fine to me. I also probably should have squirted more oil in there while I had it open. I can just use this and go down the side channel here. Should get some oil in there. This is one of those channels that lets the oil into that little slot in there. All right, I'm gonna go look up what those are supposed to be torqued to. The internet says 100 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. That would be insane. 100 inch-pounds. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna alternate between each bolt, and I'm gonna torque them 4 times, starting with 100 divided by 4, which is 25, and work my way up to 50, 75, and then 100. It's already torqued to 25. Okay, well, I guess I'm moving up to 50. 50 inch-pounds. It's already torqued to 50 inch-pounds too. I guess that's my fault. Let's go to 75. 75 inch-pounds. It's already torqued to 75 inch-pounds. And that one's not. This guy, that guy. Then I'll go ahead and spin the motor over a hair. Alright, then we'll go up to 100 inch-pounds. That's tighter. There we go. We'll do the other side. Alright, and we'll spin the motor over. It's nice and smooth. Seems good to me. Little to no play there. You're not supposed to test it this way. It should be able to move back and forth a little bit. That's normal. But up and down or left and right is what you want to test. It's not moving that direction. But like I said, it is moving back and forth, and that's in a regard normal. All right, so now we got to put the actual inside of the engine back together. I'm going to spray it down again with carburetor cleaner because this will be the last time. And we'll go ahead and take care of that. Yeah, see, we don't want that stuff in there. And we'll go ahead and take care of this here. I need more. All right, I think that's plenty. I think that's good enough. Now I'm going to start putting our components back in. We'll start with the camshaft. I'm going to do the same with this. I'm going to wipe it all off with carburetor cleaner. The little bit that I have left. I also don't want any paper towels in the engine. All right, that's clean. And then the tappets too. I'll go ahead and run some lubricant on those tappets. The tappets are going to go in first. So the engine has to go like this. Whoop. The engine's got to sit like this. And then the tappets. 1, 2. All right, now I got to find the timing tick mark on the crankshaft. On these, there's no timing belt or timing chain. The crank and the cam are literally attached to each other, contrary to a normal engine. However, the camshaft spins in the opposite direction as the crankshaft because they're literally butt up right against each other. So how this works is there's a little, almost like a hole that would have been made with a center punch. It's not, but there's a little indentation on the crank. You line that up with the knock on the camshaft right here. And this hole, I don't know if you could see it from there, but right there, that little hole, you line those up, and then it is timed correctly. There we go. It looks good to me. I know it's in it's in the bottom of the frame, but here, there we go. Better shot. You know what I should have done before I did that? I'm gonna squirt some oil in the groove down here. We'll go back in. Trust me, it's in the same place as it was before. I'll put some oil on top of here, put some oil around here, put some oil on the gears, put some oil everywhere. I guess all that's left is the governor. I'm gonna clean this guy off with some carburetor cleaner because it's nasty. Yeah, this one is a little gross. There's some sort of buildup on here that probably shouldn't be there. Okay, I'll put the governor aside for now. I'm gonna save it for later because what I'm gonna do first is I'm actually gonna cover the gasket surfaces of both the sump. Well, you know what I have to do first before I do that? I'm gonna make sure the sump's nice and clean. If the sump's not clean, then that would not be very good, would it? I really do like that location of that drain plug that they put in here. It's very nice, and I wish they still did that, but they do not. There's a few little spots I can't get in there, so I'm gonna go blow it off with the air gun. That's better. I think I'll take that. Now what I'm gonna do before I put the gasket on is I'm actually gonna seal up both ends with Permatex Ultra Red. It's just like any other kind of gasket maker. This one's meant to specialize in high heat applications. So I figure, well, if this gets really hot, then we're good to go. No, we don't want this to get really hot. But I am going to do this because I'll have that extra protection and longevity of that gasket, because I don't want to take this apart in 5 hours of use with a leaky sump gasket. I'm running out of stuff in my old tube here. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get any out because it seems to be stuck. Oh, screw it. I'm just gonna open my new tube. You gotta be really careful with this stuff because if you don't wear gloves, it's sticking to your hands for like a week. So Kawasaki actually uses this stuff in place of a gasket, not in addition to, but in place of a gasket to seal the engine. Not ultra red, but ultra gray. That's for, oh geez, I don't know what ultra gray is for, but it's the same kind of stuff. It's a gasket maker like this. And no gasket. And Kawasaki's got to be one of the best names in small engines. And they don't leak, so that's incredible. So I found that was quite interesting. I rebuilt a Kawasaki not long ago because it needed new rings because it had zero compression. I did end up fixing it just fine. However, I sealed it up with this stuff, and I didn't know at the time that there was like no gasket, because I didn't, you know, normally I would have suspected that they would have put a gasket on something like this. I got to be careful. I don't really care about getting it on the outside of the engine, but I more so care about getting it on the inside of the engine, because once this, before it's dry, once this stuff sticks to something, it's not coming off. Unless you use like carburetor cleaner or something really strong. I got to go find a gasket. Let me take this off. Oh, you couldn't even see me do this. Why didn't you say something? Oops. I don't know about you, but that looks right to me. Yeah, I kind of... Oh, I got to put the governor on. The governor just rests right here. It'll move its way into place once the sump cover goes on, but all it does is it sits on the... I might have to raise this up somehow. Put it like this. All the governor does here is just sits on this, I don't know if you want to call it a lever, but it sits right there. And then once you put the sump cover on it, locks into place further. There goes this. And let me make sure you could see. All right. So I have to watch that governor real closely. Oh, no, see? It got off of its little place here. There we go. I gotta watch it closely, because if it doesn't land where it's supposed to, then I'm either not gonna be able to get it on, or I'm gonna force something, or it's not gonna work. Yeah, don't need that governor, right? No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do such a thing. All right. Oh, that sounded good. Do I not have something right? Something seems a little stuck. Yeah, seems okay. Let's see if I can start putting bolts in. I think I put my impact somewhere else. Why don't I go grab my impact before I do this, because I think I want to grease the bolts too. I'll do this. With some grease. Looks like I'm missing one. Oh, here it is. I think I could have put some more on some of the other ones. I love grease more than I don't like to use anti-seize too much. I just like to use grease. There it goes. Whoa, there goes my hammer. It's all good. Now I'm not sure what the internet says to torque those to, but I'm gonna guess 50 inch-pounds. I'll start with that. That's not tight enough. About 75 inch-pounds. That's still not tight enough. Let's start with 75 inch-pounds, then I'll work my way up later. How many did I miss? I don't think I missed any. Now let's go up to 100. I have no idea what the internet says on this, but I just know that this is too loose. 100. I'm gonna go up to 125 maybe, because this still seems, oh, I don't know. We're getting there. We're getting there on tightness. I bet you 100 I could pass for. Maybe I'll go up a little bit more. Yeah, that looks good. Go up to like 115. Then I will stop. Yeah, that's good. I'll stop after 115. Now you watch, the internet says torque it to 40 inch-pounds. Too tight, too tight. Oh, that's okay. I have enough experience with putting these on that I kind of know what they're supposed to be at. Or not, or watch the internet laugh at me. All right, now you stay. It's not going to stay. Oh, it will stay. Okay. Okay, we'll put the torque wrench right there. I'm not going to complain about that seal. Let me bring you down and you could see the seal here. Pretty good seal. The gasket's showing over on the right side, not on the left side, but I can look in there and I can see a seal. I can see that red stuff. I can't see right through, so it is good. I'm tempted to go with my finger and just right across there, but I don't know. I'm tempted to leave it the way it is. I don't want to touch it because then I'm going to get my fingers all goofy. I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I think it looks okay. Now what do I want to do? I should probably take off the intake thingy-ma-do. If you want to call it an intake manifold, I should take that off and probably blow it out because I didn't put a paper towel over it when I went to go take the whole thing apart, which was not a very good decision, but I did it anyway. Maybe I should mount the engine up sooner than later. Should I mount it up sooner or should I mount it up later? I don't know. How about I'll throw away my garbage? I'm going to take off this intake thing here and blow it out just because I didn't put anything over it when I took the whole thing apart. Unless there's a gasket there. If there's a gasket there, it doesn't look great. A lot of carbon in here. I'll just leave it. It'll burn itself away someday. As far as this piece though, I think I will blow it out. Then I could put some of that ultra red on there, seal it up. Okay, blown enough. Uh-oh, here comes thunder. I guess it's gonna storm soon. Get rid of this red stain here. I like the color red, but not that much. All sealed up. I bet you that won't leak at all. Well, I think it's about time to stick the engine back on the mower. I don't remember what I used for a 7/16 bolt, if I even had one in there. Let me go see if I can find some bolts. All right, here's what I got. Surely there's one in there somewhere. And then the 7/16 one is going to be a little difficult. I'm not sure if I have any. That's huge. I'm not sure if I have any. It appears I don't. I may have to go to the store and buy one. No. Yeah, I don't think I have any. I have some more bolts over somewhere else, but again, I don't think I would even touch anything that big. It's a big bolt. And then I guess I can mount the engine up with just a 2 for now, and then don't start it until I find a third one. Let me go look in my other bin, see if I have a 7/16. I doubt it, but I'll look. I don't think I have anything bigger than 3/8. I believe I tapped that hole to 7/16 by 14 if I'm not wrong, so I can just go to the store and buy a single 7/16 by 14 bolt, no big deal. Okay, well here she is. I let it sit outside a little bit so it could get rained on. It got rained on, but it was still greasy, so I went over it with some heavy duty cleaner and degreaser, and it looks better. I think what I'll have to do eventually is maybe go over that piece of the deck on the side there with some touch-up paint. I don't know if you can tell there or not, but there's a little bit of rust right there. So, how am I gonna do this? I don't know, I'm gonna have to hold it. Well, I could start with bringing the engine over, I guess. There you go. We'll start with that. And then I'm gonna have to grab my bolts and sneak underneath wherever did I put the bolts in the engine? I bet you I did. Yeah, I gotta take those out. So it looks like the rear two bolts are the ones that I can fit. We'll go like that. I said the rear two, so let me see if I can work my way under here. There we go. All right, I got one started. I just want to get them started. After I get them started, I'll tip it over and tighten them real good. There we go. It doesn't matter what side I tip it over on because there's no oil in it now, so I don't have to worry about flooding it. Well, that's one way to do it. I'm tempted to stick a small nut and bolt through that other hole just temporarily, just to get it stabilized, and then I'll put a bigger bolt in there when I get one. I might be pretty stupid to do this, but I'm going to try. This is a 6mm bolt. I was just going to stick it right in here. And not permanently, but just for now, tighten it down. I probably should put a washer on there too, but again, I just want to make it so that the engine doesn't teeter-totter when I attempt to start it. Yeah, that's not going to move. That's not permanent at all, but it's not going to move for now because, like I said, I'm just going to test it and stuff. See if we can wrangle this back on. That sounded good. And then the blade is the thing that I have to fix because the blade is not centered. I may need to buy a new blade because the blade is meant for a newer style adapter. So I think for now I'm just going to put it on sideways. I know that's not how I'm supposed to do it. Yeah, it's not perfect, and I know that's not how it's supposed to go on, but somehow it seems to fit okay in there. So I think what I'm going to do next is find top dead center and then wire wheel off the head at this time, because I think I'd rather do it when the engine's on the mower than when the engine wouldn't have been on the mower. If I put the, oh, I think I found it right here, top dead center, right here. Let me go get some safety glasses and a die grinder. I can cover up this. Okay. Here we go. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'll wait to talk till the air compressor turns off. I don't know if you could hear it, but I can. I think it looks a lot better. I'll say so. I went around, you saw me, I went around the edges of the valves and the piston too, and got those real clean. You see me holding the head here. I think I'm going to do the head next. That's better. It's not perfect, but I had to leave a little bit of carbon here. I couldn't get there with my wheel. The other thing I noticed about this is there's some sort of a marking here. That's pretty deep. I can't get that out with the wire wheel. I wonder how that happened. There's some room around it, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. It looks like it was almost a casting defect that they didn't like surface the head good enough or something, or the engine overheated, one of the two. But it's going to have to stay there. Nothing I can do about it. So I went ahead and greased up the head bolts, put them on the head with the gasket, and I'm going to go ahead and put the head back on. So I'm not sure what to torque those to. Got to look it up on the internet, I guess. I'm gonna go look it up on the internet. Well, the internet says 140 inch-pounds. I don't know if my torque wrench goes that high, but I'm gonna try. And when you tighten heads, you always start from the center, tighten those two bolts, then you go to the opposite two and work your way around in a like a circle pattern. My torque wrench goes up to 200 inch-pounds, so I will be okay. So 140 divided by 2 is 70. So I'll start by torquing them down to 70 inch-pounds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to torque them down in increments. So I'm going to torque it down halfway, correct. Then I'm going to torque it down all the way, correct. So what I'll do, I'm not sure the torque pattern here, but I'm going to take a guess and say it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how most of them are. You always start with the center two, work your way around this way. So that's what I'm going to do. Actually, why don't we start at like 40 inch-pounds, because these aren't tight at all. 1, 2, I lost count. What'd I say? 1, 2, 3, 4? 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I got it. Yeah. All right, and then we'll go up to 70. That's 80, 75, 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 70. I'm going to go up to like 100 slowly. I'm going to go 200 each time. I'm going to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we'll do 120. Am I doing this overkill? Probably. But that's okay. And then now I'm going to do 140. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. Okay. Good enough for me. All right, what do we want to do next? I guess we could put the obvious back on. I could put this thing back on. So how these work, this is the kill switch and the brake. So the lever up at the top of the mower works this. When you pull the lever, it moves this assembly here, moves the spring. And how this actually works is there's a brake on the flywheel when you stop the mower. The reason for that is in case some stupid person decides to stop the mower and then go put their fingers under here right afterward. So what they do is they put a brake on the engine so that the engine stops before the person gets a chance to put their fingers under there. So when I let go of the top, this little shoe here goes on the flywheel and stops the engine faster. And it also catches the this contact here. There's an insulator on here, and between the top piece and the bottom piece is ground, and the top piece would be the coil's wire, right? There's a contact here that connects the two when you let go, and that grounds out the coil and shuts off the engine. You want to put the ignition coil back on? We put the ignition coil back on. The ignition coil is here, but doesn't look very pretty. How about we beautify it a little bit? Well, that's beautified enough for me. There's lots of pitting on it, so yeah, I guess I just wanted to make myself feel better so it didn't look all rusty. Not like you're gonna see it. Okay. So to install the coil, what you have to do is find the magnet on the flywheel. In this case, I think there's only one. Oh, is there two? Nope, only one. The other one seems to be a counterweight. What you have to do is you have to find the magnet and put it where the coil's gonna go. Put it where the coil's gonna go. And take a business card and squeeze it between there. That's gonna serve as your gap tool. And then you take the coil and you stick it on the magnet. So that way, when you remove the business card, the coil is as close to the flywheel as that business card is thick. So what I like to do is give it a little back pressure. Not crazy tight with these because they're only a little 1/4 inch. Or I guess the socket head's only a 1/4 inch, and it's going to be a little stiff to turn out. But then once you get the card out of there, you have a little teeny gap. I can hardly see it with my eyes, but it's there. You have a little gap between the flywheel and the coil. And then I could take my kill wire. I guess I'm not sure. I think this was in a really weird position when I took it out. I think it was under this. Bracket in here. It's gonna be real hard to see, I bet you, from here, but the little dongle off of the terminal on the coil is on the bottom of the coil right here. I plug it in right there. And that's all there is to that. Well, oh, nope, that's wrong. Oh, you know what I gotta do? I gotta put the governor arm on first. Had I would have forgotten that, I would have been mad because everything would have had to come back apart. There we go. Yeah, I wouldn't have liked to forget that. All right, what did I do with these other bolts? Well, there's two. I don't know what I did with the other two. I bet you I know where one of them is. Right here. Because that is where the gas tank bolt goes, and that is a different bolt. It's that really long one with the spacer in it. Now, how about that last one? I don't know. Did I misplace anything else? Watch, it's in the engine or something. That would be funny. Go look in my chair again. I'll just worry about it. I think I'm going to worry about it later. That sounds like a great way to do it. I'll do this piece. See, I like that I put those bolts right back in there because I actually know where they are. I think that the way that Briggs designed these series of engines is such a good design. I think it's fantastic, and it's a shame they stopped. I don't know why they stopped. Maybe they needed more money. Maybe they wanted to design an engine on purpose to start failing so people go get another one. Maybe it's an emissions thing. I don't know. But I don't know where this spring goes either. I know it goes on here somewhere. I bet you it goes on here, this big one. There we go. I bet you that's how it goes. I think it deserves a new O-ring too, because the engine just got rebuilt. There we go. And then I gotta find the carburetor bolts. I know where they are, thankfully. I might leak a little gas when I'm trying to get this in there. There we go. There we go. Oh, there goes that. I almost lost my dipstick too, but no, it was just on my chair. I have to remember to put this in before I put the gas tank on real good. Okay. There we go. And then the bolt that goes on the bottom with that spacer in it too. That one goes down here between two places. There we go. And I could put this back in. And then I have to do the muffler. And I guess I can put the air box on. Oh, I guess I put it all in one piece here, this little fin up top with the air box. Okay. And then what? I'm gonna put a new air cleaner in it because the old one was not in the best shape. Oh, I gotta get the thing that holds the thing in, don't I? Here's the thing that holds the thing in. Right here. Actually, I could put it in the other way. I could put the pre-filter in first. And then this guy. I'll slide it in the bottom, through to the top. There we go. And then I remember the top piece I didn't have screws for, so I have to go dig and see if I can find some screws for the top piece. Now these are wood screws, but I don't see why they wouldn't work, because they're longer. Oh yeah. There we go. No. Close. There we go. Good. I'm happy with that, but I think that this piece was supposed to go under the old piece. There we go. That's better. I'll give this one a little tighten. I like that better. Now it looks like a lawnmower. So it appears that I forgot something here, and that's this cover that goes on the bottom here, and the bracket that goes on the mower to accommodate for the cover. But I lost the bolt for that too. So I found this one that fits in there, and I'm going to use that. Wonder how I lost those bolts. They got to be here somewhere. I'll find them in like a month sitting in my chair, and I'll go, okay, I'll just throw them in the bin, in my parts bin. However, because of my blade situation and this bolt situation, I think I'm going to keep the this piece here, this shroud. I'm going to keep it off for now until I get a new bolt and a new blade, and then I'll put it on later when I get those back. Now what I think I'll do is put some engine oil in it. It's gonna take pretty much because I'm going from empty here. Dead empty. So let's see, we're full, we're at 5 quarts right now. I'm not sure how much it's gonna take, probably no more than a quart from dead empty. We'll check it. Some of these lawnmowers that I have take like nothing, like the new Briggs and Stratton E-Series, they take like a Diet Pepsi bottle. Like nothing. They don't take anything. Yeah, okay. The Tecumsehs drink it though. They take a lot. Well, like I said earlier, everything about Tecumseh seems to scream old. Oh yeah, we got some time yet. I always have to check the dipstick more than once with this new oil because it's so light in color. All right, well, see, that's a half a quart. I'm just putting synthetic 1030 in it, by the way. That's what I put in all these, is synthetic 1030. I use synthetic because a lot of the times what people do, especially if it's not my mower, is they'll let their mower sit over the winter, start it in the spring, and keep on mowing and not bother to change the oil. The oil will break down if it's dinosaur bones. Yeah. I lose self-confidence in myself checking these because I'll pull it out and it says one thing. Then I'll pull it out a second time and it says another thing. It's just because of the clear oil. All right, that's good. Now where's my cap? Here's my cap. Should I put some gas in it? I think I want to put some gas in it. E-free 89 octane. Well, I think it's all ready. I would like to start it. However, it's starting to get late. So I'm gonna wait for tomorrow when it's not late. And then I'll come back and start it. Maybe I'll lube up the cable. And hope it doesn't smoke. You know what? I'm gonna try to do one more thing before I start it here, and that's to adjust that throttle plate. Because I remember when it was running, before I rebuilt it, it was running too low on the RPM side. So I want to fix that. Oh, it's this thing that's not bent right. Right here. There we go. That's probably better. Yeah, that's probably better. Yeah, that didn't seem right. That's probably better. I could play with that. I could bend it back and forth. I think I'll put this top cover back on and leave the side off. All right, the oil's right at the full mark. I went and checked it. We'll see what it does. Let me prime it. I have to lubricate the cable too, because it's not exactly in great shape. All right. I'm gonna lubricate that cable. I can't stand that cable. Oh, I'm sure you also noticed that it smoked when it first started. I got a little worried there myself, but I let it run for a few more minutes and it cleared up. So that was probably one of two things. One, burning off the excess raw gas in the muffler. And two, probably burning off the two-stroke oil I shot in there when I was installing the new rings. And the RPM's too high. I gotta bring it down. But I gotta lubricate that cable. It's terrible. So I'll show you how I do this. I, in fact, think it's quite interesting. So I have the cable off of the side here where it normally goes in the thing, and this end piece will actually unscrew. It's just threaded on there very loosely. like that. And then you get the end of the cable, which looks like there's a broken piece in there. It still moves though, so I think I'm gonna, maybe that's supposed to be there, I don't know. But what I do is I have this tool. It's made by Motion Pro. Motion Pro makes two kinds of cable lubrication tools. Here, this one. Motion Pro makes two kinds of cable lubrication tools, the version 2 and the version 3. I have both because I like the version 3 a lot better. However, the version 2 fits these smaller cables a lot better. Like the version 3 I'll use for a boat shift cable. I kind of did this without explaining it to you. What I do is I slide the cable on the machine, and then the shield and the cable get separated right at this end here. There's a little hole. You take your WD-40, or I like my liquid wrench. I'll take the liquid wrench and I'll put the straw right in the end of the hole and then spray down. And it should work its way all the way to the bottom, and it will do so until you start getting spray or some liquid dripping out of the bottom of the cable. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's bubbles coming out of the bottom now, and there's a puddle of lubricant down here, so it's definitely worked. I'm gonna put it all back on and see if it works any better. There we go. Oh, night and day. Night and day. Wow, much better. Wow. Oh yeah. Absolutely incredible. I love that little tool. Had I not have that tool, I would have had to buy a new cable. $10, $15, $25 maybe. I'm gonna spray the sides of the bale too, because they're squeaking. Much better. Start. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll take that. All right, good, paused it. My next order of business is I want to check the belt under the cover, because even on the loosest setting, I was still getting some resistance pulling back the wheels when the lever up top was disengaged. So I just want to make sure the belt's not grabbing on anything. Oh, there's a tensioner down here. It looks like there's some, well, dirt. But other than the dirt, what do we got here? I'll get rid of this. The pulley is rusty. That's my big problem. I think I'm going to sand down the crankshaft belt, or a pulley, not this one. I don't mind the rust on this one, because whenever I pull the cord now, the belt doesn't seem to spin at all. So I think, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take off the pulley again and sand that one down. All right, I pulled the pulley off. This is the blade adapter too. It's got both of them built into each other. Yeah, a little rust. I think I'm gonna go wire wheel it. I'm not sure a wire wheel is the appropriate tool here. I think I'm going to need something stronger. See how this does. This die grinder is a piece of crap. There's some pitting I can't do anything about much, but it's better. It used to be all rusty, and now it's not all rusty. Again, that die grinder really stinks, but this is about the best I can do with it, and I think it did pretty okay. I think I said I needed to bring the RPMs down too. This was a little too high. All right, I'm gonna try to start it. I put the blade adapter and blade back on temporarily, and we'll see. I'll ditch the glasses. See if it's any better. I gotta prime it. Now it ain't moving. Wonder if the ratchets are locking up. I figured out my issue. I tore it apart and I took a look at it, and this actually has an anti-reverse in it. And the deal is there was a spring in there that was not compressed correctly. It was aged and it stretched out. I'll pull it apart again and I'll show you. Here's how it works. Here's the main mechanism. If I flip this over, there's a little spring and a little pawl in here. The pawl rests in this groove on this plate, and then the gear on the back, there's 3 teeth almost. And if I stick the gear in here, that pawl and those teeth collide, and then when the teeth pass this way, the pawl goes inside of the thing. Then when it passes this way, it stops it and actually engages the self-propel. My issue was this spring was bent way too far out. It wasn't contacting this pawl correctly, and it wasn't doing this motion here. That was my main problem. So I'm gonna go get some grease. I'm not gonna show it, but I'm gonna put this back together and do the same to the other side. Okay, so I fixed the self-propel. Both of the pawls were screwed up pretty good, so I fixed them, and it works well. Forward, a little resistance on back, but that's normal. And then hit the gas and no hesitation, not at all. I actually loosened the cable all the way too. Yep. And it starts right up too. I'm happy, and I fixed the RPM a little bit too. It needed adjusting, but it works. So, with that being said, I can't find anything else wrong with this. Little things. I mean, I gotta put that back on, and that back on, but I can do that anytime. I need a new blade too. Other than to maybe beautify it a little bit, I think it's in pretty good shape. Gee, I bet you this is going to be a long video, isn't it? I haven't touched the editing yet right now, but I've shot so many clips. This video took me 4 days to make. This was a long one, but I enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. It was a kind of a tear it apart kind of experience type of deal. I kind of tore the whole thing apart. I have some more stuff coming in the future. Hopefully that'll be fun. But for now, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.